Happy Saturday. What's going on, everybody? It's first Saturday of February. Yesterday, we got in the pool for the first time already. We went over to where we belong locally and beautiful weather. And then today it's freezing again. So that's just kind of like Florida in general. But I hope you guys are having an amazing time wherever you're at. As we start off every week, we talk about asking the question, where's everybody from? And today I'm going to do a little bit something different. Whoever's the farthest away, we are going to do a little swag box giveaway. So feel free to drop where you're coming from today. And just always interesting to find out where people are tuning in. Are you already here locally? Are you wanting to move here? Are you just an Orlando fan because you like the parks? What is it? So drop down below where you guys are from. We'll do a little bit of a swag giveaway, and that'll be kind of fun. So Jason, what's going on from Buckeye, Arizona? Grumpy Rich from Brentwood, Northern California. Good to see you. Cody, what's going on? Seminole County side of Winter Park, the Aloma folk, what up? College Park, Orlando, what's going on? Appreciate you hanging out. Chicago, Farmer George is in North Korea. I think that's a lie. I think that might be a lie. That may be wrong. I could be wrong. Pembroke Pines, good to see you. Good. Rob hanging out from New York, just back from an Orlando trip. Appreciate you tuning in. Sharon from Georgia, how are you this morning? Or this afternoon, I guess. Greetings from Laureate Park. Hey, Jasmine. Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out. Let's see. Hey, from Milwaukee. Dream of buying an investment property or something close to Disney. Get a lot of those folks. Hey, everybody. Good to see you. So today, as you guys are continuing to kind of tune in, where you guys are from today. Today's show's going to be more like delays, like what's going on, what's been delayed, what is something that we expected to be open already that's not, or maybe something that we thought was coming a little sooner. I also found a bunch of stuff that was delayed that's now moving forward, and then also some new announcements, a little different outside of the normal areas that I usually cover, which I cover a lot of like Horizon West, a lot of Lake Nona, but so we're going to get outside of that. What are some other stuff that is coming? So I think that'll be an interesting thing. And as always, make sure you drop your comments/questions below, and I'll make sure I read through some of those things. There's no silly comments. There's no silly questions, because honestly, if you're thinking it, someone else that's watching it, whether live or in the future when this replay happens, will probably be thinking the same thing. So make sure you just let us know what's going on. A couple more people checking in here. Another from Laureate Park. Sharon from Georgia. Holly from Waterley, you're super close. Good to see you. What's going on from Savannah? So Denise, I just referred somebody up in Savannah. I've got a really good team up there. What's going on? Gustavo from Brazil. Connor from Philly. Philly! All right, let's get into some of the stuff that we found in. So let's see. So first thing is the difference between something that's been abandoned, which this is a website that I apply to. You pay for to kind of see permitting and what's going on. The companies have to go to the counties and the cities and say, hey, here's kind of what we're thinking about putting in these different locations. Here's the design. Here's the rough costs and estimates. And then they go through the process. And a lot of times they don't go through. Like not every new massive development that they try to get through actually goes through. You'd think that if they're going to spend all the money on architectural and design and all that kind of stuff, that they would probably move forward. But many times they figure out, hey, listen, based on market research, we found that it's just going to be way too expensive for us to move forward, or demand has dropped, or what we saw a lot of, and a lot of the things we're going to talk about today that have sort of stopped or been delayed was because of COVID, because, supply chain issues, labor issues, unknowns, right? And so the big one that I think everybody knows about that was delayed was really Epic Universe was kind of like number one. And so this one was originally supposed to be open like 2023, 24. Now they've kind of come out and said in their fourth quarter earnings that by 2025, Epic Universe is going to be open. And I actually had somebody ask me this the other day. So if you don't know where Epic Universe is actually going to be, it's actually on the mark now. Let's see, Universal, Epic Universe. I'm so chilly today. It's like cold. Universal. Let's see. Universal. Because it's not right where. Yeah, why is this? Orlando. Universal. There we go. All right. So this is where Universal is currently right here, kind of like above I-4, connected down over here. The new Universal is going to be right over here where all this land is. So it's not going to be a contingent like location. They had to find land where they could, right? And so you've got the convention center and everything else down back over here, and you've got the Epic Universe right up over here. So land is moving like crazy. They're doing a ton of research, but it's essentially going to be about a year late. And so what do you guys think about that? Are you guys mostly excited about this? I've had a lot of people chime in and say like they think that Universal is going to be taking over Disney in regards to new IP, new stuff coming in. I'm guessing that by 2025, Disney's going to want to respond back and say, hey, listen, here's another thing that we're working on to kind of draw people in beyond Galaxy's Edge, beyond all this other kind of stuff. I have to believe that there's going to be more and more stuff coming from Disney that's going to counteract a lot of the stuff that Universal is doing. So I kind of dig it for sure. What's going on from Delaney Park, College Park area? Nancy says, I'm watching in my bed. Well, happy Saturday to you, as you should. Any idea what the IP will be in Epic Universe? Yeah, there's actually quite a bit of stuff that's already come out. So Epic, it's supposed to be How You Train Your Dragon, another, let's see, concept art. How to Train Your Dragon. There's going to be another Harry Potter world. Let's see, or portion of Harry Potter. Let's get this out together. Fantastic Beasts, I think is what it is. Yeah. Here we go. Let me show you this. So yeah, they've got How to Train Your Dragon, Fantastic Beasts. There's going to be, I think, Nintendo World. Here's another one. People have said they think Nintendo World's going to be in there. I'm actually most excited about Epic Universe beyond the stuff. We have passes to there, but like I really just go like straight to Harry Potter World, and that's usually it. So we do a lot of in City Walk, eating, hanging out there, but not so much beyond that. What's up, Sean? The one thing about Universal that has been figured out, tapping into the kids' original ride, competing against MK, the bubble. Yeah, exactly. Universal, you still feel like you're in Orlando. Like whereas like Disney, like you're off on your own. You definitely don't feel like you're in Orlando or sometimes even Florida. It's just a whole nother world when you're in Disney. So Philip says, moving back, wife and I met in College Park back in '89. Son was born in Clearwater, headed to Horizon West the 1st of April. Well, I'll tell you what, College Park is very different than it was 5 years ago, let alone, 35 years ago. So I'm sure you're going to see big difference in the area. I hope you enjoy it. So Matt asks, any news of big tech or media companies coming to Orlando? So when you say like big tech, I mean, I'm thinking like, Facebook, Google, Apple, nothing like that yet, but we have seen a lot of little things like EA Entertainment that does like video games. They're moving one of their headquarters or this side of their headquarters to downtown Orlando in Creative Village. You got a lot of like other videos, like small tech companies coming to support the space industry. We've got a lot of that coming into the downtown area and Lake Nona area. SimCon is one of them. They've got a whole new like aviation company coming in. So that to me, if you're keeping your eye on the Lake Nona area and then between here and the coast, that's where the majority of like the tech jobs, space jobs, I kind of lump them all into one that are coming. So I think it's going to be cool. So Yasmin says, I've been waiting for Lake Nona Linear Community Park. So that's going to be fantastic. Linear Park's as big as Central Park. I didn't know this, but they were kind of comparing the two when I was listening to the developer kind of chat through what this is going to be. And so if you're looking over in Laureate Park, whether you live there or you just want to use it as an amenity, it's going to be a really cool public space for people to be able to come in and use. They're supposed to be breaking ground on that later this year, is what I've heard. So let's talk a few other things in terms of what's been delayed. So I go through here and I think, okay, Mary Poppins has been delayed. It's not something that's been canceled and or abandoned. And so I was going through the other list here. So you've got delayed. There's been just in the past 90 days, 45 projects that have been delayed. And so I'm going through this. One of them that I was really kind of upset about from a personal perspective, because we live too far from here, was AG's Market at Hamlin Town Center. And so if you don't know where Hamlin is, it's over in Horizon West, and it's supposed to be another food hall. I love food halls because the little concepts that can come in, you can pop in, get your donuts next to your meat market, next to your pizza or whatever. So this has been delayed as of 3 weeks ago. And so a lot of people were very excited that was coming to the area because the Hamlin areas, it's like, we need more town center stuff. We need more places to shop and just day in and day out. They just had a new Ford's garage open there, but like, we just need more stuff. There's already Starbucks and a few other things, a Publix, but we need more. And so that's one. Excuse me. I was kind of bummed to see that was delayed. There was another one that was delayed. Let's see, the Sinopolis over in Lake Nona. So they're Lake Nona has been like, touting the town center and the Wave Hotel. If you guys haven't watched that video, I put that up. Amazing. Like the restaurants are incredible, but people are like, okay, we need more things to do in Lake Nona. So the movie theater looks to be like it was delayed, although it is moving forward. Now, again, very, very different between delayed and completely abandoned. There's been 97 projects that were completely abandoned over the past 90 days. And so everything from a couple schools, like in Sanford, Leesburg, Geneva, those kind of things, some different clubhouses, going through the project. There weren't any massive things that I was surprised at. This Village H townhome, this one was kind of like an interesting one. There's 99 townhomes that were going to be over by like across from Waterloo. This was completely abandoned recently. This was like 2 weeks ago. But going through, no other like massive surprises in regards to like what's been completely abandoned. Just a lot of delays. And I think a lot of that is just like, they came in and said, hey, we hope to have this finished in 2022 or 2023. And because of the supply chain issue, because of just literal labor and all of these other kind of things have been slowing things down, you get a lot more delays. Kind of think something that you'd anticipate anyways. But here, what do you guys think? I'm going to check in with y'all. Charlie says, great video on Horizon West. We drove by recently, and right across from Toll Brothers, there were trailers. Are those going to be bought out? I feel like they may affect the housing prices. Ooh, really good question from Charlie Kelly. So let me show you this over here. So, Mango Crossing Village. This is a good one. So, Disney built out all of this housing, if you will, for their cast members. And then around that, there's all of these new shops. There's a Target, there's a Walgreens, there's all this kind of stuff going on. And then you have this Hartzog Road, which came down here all the way down. And there's trailers and like, there's just, it is what it is, mobile homes, all that kind of stuff. And so you have these, what will potentially be, $700 to $1.1 million homes kind of going in right here. And people are like, well, do I want to build right there next to like a mobile home park? Well, this Hartzog Road has actually been completely abandoned and closed off. And you can see this actually new one even on satellite kind of coming through here. And so the new main road is going to be farther north. So this actually, the people that are in the mobile homes are now going to, instead of having a road behind them, is going to have just beautiful trees and landscaping and all that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't really worry about it in terms of if you're thinking about that Toll Brothers area. Because I think that the new entrance and where everything's at and the way that they're going to landscape, it's going to actually be quite nice. That's what I've seen. Sean, do I think Universal will try to compete with Springs and create a shopping area near Epic? I don't know. I mean, I think the City Walk's already pretty huge. And I think that that's kind of what they do to compete. But I do see that there was, based on the plans, that there's going to be some sort of shopping contingency around it as you enter in. Do I think it's going to be as big as Disney Springs? Probably not, although there's plenty of land over there. Very interesting. All right, let's keep going. Gosh, a lot of questions. What's up, Gunner Games? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, it means a ton. Thank you. My man threw in a little like, hey, what's going on? Any questions you want to get answered, let me know. All right, let's keep going here on some stuff that we found this week. Here's something I found this week. So I usually drink like coffee and I put it right here. And today, or it's not this week, I knocked it over all over my computer and I had to go get a new one. But thankfully, this one's so much faster. And like I had Apple Care, it's going to fix my old one. But that was fun this week. That was good times. But the chip shortage, like I had to go to multiple locations to find this laptop. Oh man, good times. Good times for sure. All right, let's show you what's going on. All right, so here's a new one. So let's get out of like the delayed sort of thing, but things that are moving forward that I found very interesting this week. So there's a new mixed-use neighborhood that would add 710 homes next to Green Island Ranch. and hang on to that Green Island Ranch, because I think that that's actually the really most interesting piece about this. But there's 710 houses that are getting developed out. This is going to be really in like the beginning of 2023 before a builder is actually going to get announced. But this is actually down in St. Cloud. And I've been talking about St. Cloud for a long time. And here's kind of why. I mean, you got these massive areas of land that are still available. So this is actually where it says next to Green Island Ranch. I was like, I got to figure out what this is. This thing is listed right now for $140 million. It's 6,000 acres. And if you read a little bit about it, it says Green Island Ranch is one of the most extensive tracts in Osceola County, spanning 6,000 acres. The scenic property, it got it for over 100 years. The Parton family has owned it. It used to be the biggest tract of land east of the Mississippi, and now it's kind of for sale. But check out some of these photos. I mean, this is gorgeous. Just so much land. And this is why I think St. Cloud is going to have a really big come up. So you've got, this is the toll, this is the turnpike. This is 91 that kind of like splits it right in the middle. And just plenty of like, they've got, proposed marina sites on the property. Yeah. So I think that if I look for the future of Orlando, I think Clermont and Lake County, obviously, I think St. Cloud becomes the obvious choice because you can already kind of get there off of the turnpike fairly easily. If you're talking like Sunbridge, obviously that's 25,000 acres and tons of houses. So that is really, if I'm looking for the future of where Orlando is going to be, these are the two areas that I'd be keeping an eye on. But $140 million, if you have $140 million, you're a developer, call me. Let's put a deal together. I'd love to work with you. Oh, gosh. What's going on, Brandon from Summerport? Good to see you, my friend. Good evening, Mr. Ned Kelly. You're probably like one of the farthest away, I think. I think you are. Yeah, my St. Cloud video is doing well. So super underrated. And so I actually put out there in my polls. So if you haven't gone over to the polls after this today, go check it out. I'm asking you guys, what would you like to see next? One, I think we had a custom, like, do you want to see how a custom home is built? Like that whole process from finding the land to finding the architect to finding the builder and like that, talk a little bit about it. I actually already kind of have that in the banks. We're working on a local builder to help us walk through a custom home project. The other one was, do you want to get to know St. Cloud better, Apopka better, or Avalon Park? So you guys get to vote on what our next content is going to be for the coming weeks. There's a lot of other ideas we have, but I want to make sure we are listening to you guys for sure. Becky, thank you so much. What do I think Disney will use their land for in Horizon West? And do I think that'll ever add on to Golden Oak to make something new and similar? So Becky, I think, all right, so let's bring some context for like what land this is for people to kind of see. And then I'll talk to you what I think is going to go on just based off of just putting all the pieces together. So Disney owns all of this land, like this huge green piece right here. So all the way, this is Avalon Road, this is 429, and then this is the back way into Disney. So if you take Western Way all the way down into here, and then boom, there's Bay Lake, you've got Lake Buena Vista, all of this stuff is Disney and Disney and Disney, right? So they own like all of this land over here. And it's like, what else are they going to do? So I think that they're going to extend, especially for Western Way, into this area. I think that they're going to add like a very 535 shopping district like over here. I think that there's going to be plenty of land expansion for them. They also bought over, I noticed there were some off-market deals in like a separate name around Reedy Lake right around here. They own this. And then this is Floridian Way. So they own like a lot of this extra land. Some of this, and they own all of this. This is all like solar that they own. They did a huge solar project to basically offset some of their costs. So I think some of it is just more, okay, if you look at their land purchases and what they're currently owning, I think some of it is to insulate them, to make sure that they don't have any encroachments on what's already going on. I think the Morningstar project down on 192 was like a big mistake. The fact that somebody was able to get that close to Animal Kingdom, they're building this massive development right next to Animal Kingdom. I think that, if they were smart thinking, they would have bought some of that. And maybe they tried and it was crazy expensive. But I think some of these kind of things are just to insulate what they already have. Now, forward thinking beyond that, I think that next to Golden Oak will probably end up becoming a DVC property. So you've got like up and down like World Drive, instead of going over all the way to Golden Oak. There's all that land over there. I think that they're eventually going to turn that into a DVC property. Do I think there's going to be another Golden Oak? I don't think so. I think they're probably done. Do I think there's going to be a 55 and older community somewhere in Central Florida that Disney is kind of back? I think that that's a very real possibility very, very soon. That would be my guess. Hopefully that's helpful. Thanks, my man. I appreciate it. I won't. So, Sean says, where can we get an Orlando Real t-shirt? Sean, if you message me your address on Instagram, I will send you. Make sure you send me your size. I will send you off an Orlando Real t-shirt for sure. Thank you. This is actually, here's a really good one from 1975. Here we go. Let me see this. So that guy went, I think, bankrupt. Orlando. Let me show you guys. This is another one that was abandoned. So what happened to the I Square Mega Mall? This thing looked so amazing, and I was so very hopeful that this thing was going to actually come to fruition. They were going to spend $1 billion on this retail mega mall, and I think part of this was maybe kind of gone under because of COVID. They really, all of the stuff came out during COVID that essentially the guy was losing the land through bankruptcy and that it wasn't going to go on. There was also, here you go, I Square developer settles for foreclosure dispute. That was in 2018. If you follow him on Twitter, every once in a while he says something like, here's what's going on. But this is really, December 31st, 2020. Yeah, I don't think things are going to move forward, unfortunately. I think it would have been really, really cool. But yeah, I don't see it happening, unfortunately, anymore. So the land becomes now, okay, it already has entitlements for something like that. Does the developer buy it out of foreclosure and put something else there? That's something that I'm going to pay attention to because it's prime location off of iDrive. And I think that the future of iDrive is that they extend it down past like Sand Lake. And that whole area kind of becomes more of like a Vegas Strip sort of deal. I know Chuck Whitall with Unicorp is already trying to do that with what they're doing over at Icon Park. And so if they just kind of keep that going up a little bit farther north and not make it so like tchotchke, something a little bit, instead of like old Vegas, it's new Vegas. That's kind of what I would see in that place. Philip says, I like your mix of restoration hardware and Star Wars. Thank you. Yeah, it's a little bit of a hodgepodge. It's like a museum for Disney and, I don't know, music, movies, all that good stuff. Here we go. Someone asks, Soul Socks, what's the best location for short-term rentals? I think that closer to the parks, the better. Like I love Windsor Hills because even though it's a little bit older of a neighborhood, the location is really hard to beat. Margaritaville, the prices in Margaritaville have gone insane. Actually, I'm going to show you guys. Let's see. Like crazy price per square foot. I just think it becomes unattainable for most people to purchase something in Margaritaville nowadays. I mean, here you go. This one right here on the market today. This is $79.84 Shaker. It's pending after 4 days on the market. $800,000, 1,800 square feet, backs to a pond, and you can't even live here full time. And so, great location because you're right next to Disney, but then you're having to rent it out. I don't know. For me, it doesn't make an absolute ton of sense unless you're a very specific buyer. So if I'm looking at the best, I would be looking in Reunion. I would be looking in Windsor Hills and start there, and then kind of like expand your search based on your budget. Because the thing is, depending on your budget, you might have to go a little bit farther out to find something that's Airbnb approved. That would be where I'd start. Dude, Shake Shack closer to Horizon West for sure. There is one over in Dr. Phillips on iDrive. That's the one we go to. It's fairly easy to get to, I don't know. Let's see. Someone else popped in. I think I've had one other person in the past ever throw in some money for for you guys, and now 4 or 5 people today. Definitely not asking for it. Thank you so much, though. It means a lot that you would share your Saturday with me and talk about something that I love, which is Orlando and stuff that's coming here. This whole like breathing thing, this living, breathing organism that is Orlando, is a lot of fun to be a part of. And there's so many different things that I think I love about the place, just because you've got the resort market, the tech market, all these like hospitality meets all these other kind of things. It's very, very cool. So yeah, anyhow, Gunnar Game says, do you have to have a real estate license to view the actual MLS listings? You do. Yeah. So that's why agents are the gatekeeper for the MLS. If you ever want like specific stuff about the MLS, just ask. So I've got a few other things for you guys hanging out here that I think are pretty cool. Let's watch this together. So a lot of folks ask, like, beyond like the tourist area, beyond downtown, like, what about like if I want to have some acreage and or be able to like have animals and plants and kind of stuff like that? Well, you really can't have animals here, but I thought this was a really interesting new neighborhood, new concept. It's called The Grow. It's a farm and garden community. And this is just outside of Waterford Lakes. If you know where that's at, I'll show you the map over here. So you've got like Waterford Lakes is over here, right off of 50, Colonial, 417. Take this down here, and they're building this rather large neighborhood. And check out some of the photos. I think this is like, I haven't seen anything like this in Orlando for sure. Let's see. I'm going to show you the photos because it's kind of wild. Community gardens, community barns, events in the barn, farmers market. Oh, here we go. This is the photo that I was like, holy crap. So you've got like a town center right here, townhomes over here, and then just sort of the community farm barn gathering, and then these really cool houses all the way around it next to the lake. So, or, faux lake, it's going to be a very nice pond, I'm sure. But 9-acre working farm, 21 acres of community gardens, 20-acre community park, edible landscaping trails, farm and table restaurant. It's supposed to be a farm to table restaurant, I'm sure. Bike share program, over 650 acres of open space. And here's like the whole layout. This is, I think, really new and different. And like there's plenty of communities that it's a pool and a clubhouse and it is what it is, but like very, very, very different. And so what do you guys think? There's nothing open here yet. They're working on the development process, but looking at it over the past 2 months, they've been like very actively working with with the city and the county to get it moving. So it's not like it's just a dream one day. It's like actually moving forward with roads and all that good stuff. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Yeah. Creative way to attract buyers. Yeah. It's interesting, man. I think it's like something very different that we have not seen here. I thought it was really dope. And so talking about, oh, you guys are hilarious. I got to get back over here. Sorry. Let me not squirrel over here and let my ADD go crazy, but here you go. Let's talk a little bit about, so you've got, The Grow. What else? Oh, beyond this though, I was looking at what other bike paths and outdoor activities and stuff that'd be healthy in Central Florida do we have going on here? So I noticed like the Orange County Parks and Recreation, they just put out a new overview of where they're going to be building and extending out different bike paths. So if you guys don't know, the Orange County Trail, which is right here, it's 22 miles long. It's huge. It goes all the way from Apopka down through Winter Garden. And then another thing I noticed that is actually going to connect all the way over. I had to go flip another website here, all the way over to downtown Mount Dora. So when it's finished, it's going to be 35, 40 miles long. There's already 22 miles that exist. But I thought it was really cool to see that they're going to be extending this out all the way down through Horizon West. And check out what they're going to do in Horizon West. I mean, these bike paths are pretty insane. That's one of the reasons we really love living here, is that you got these 8 to 10 foot bike paths that go almost through the entire community. So eventually that's going to connect all the way up to the bike path here, all the way through up to Apopka and then over to Mount Dora. So gosh, like this is, it's kind of cool. You could do 60, 70 miles, not have to ride your bike on the road because it's crazy here. And I don't feel comfortable running or riding my bike on open road, but you could do this from the leisure of like a beautiful path. And if you go through like downtown Winter Garden, there's all of these run shops and bike shops that connect to this. It's gorgeous, like the trees overhang, and it's really well done. So I think this is a cool little add-on here. Have you guys ever used this before? The Orange County Trail or any of that stuff? What's going on, Big Thunder Craig? Good to see you, man. Thanks for hanging out live. Jay says, talking about the grow, can you imagine walking along the trail and bring a juicer with you? You're like, God, like this sounds good. And then, yeah, why not? I think it'd be cool. Barry Andrew says, what do I think about Detroit's XQB making it to the Super Bowl? I think it's freaking awesome. So not only that, but you've got a bunch of like, I think Eminem is doing that more part of the halftime show. So you've got like Detroit there, QB from Detroit. I'm digging it, man. I'm excited. So LA Rams, that's who we're rooting for in the Pozek household. Yeah, Sean says, did I see Detroit receive a U.S. first public wireless EV charging road system? Love to see this in Orlando. There are so many talks about this in regards to just expanding our network here for EV. And I haven't seen anything like really gain traction. And that's something that I would love to see the city of Orlando really lead the way on. I mean, we've got so much solar, we've got so many things that we can dig into that they really have kind of neglected. And if I'm being completely honest, and if you work for the city of Orlando or Orange County, I feel like we have a bigger opportunity than you guys are letting on. I think many people are sort of like resting on tourism when we have a huge work pool and tons of natural resources and so many things that we could be known for that we should be leaning in on. That's my soapbox for today. All right. Are there more commercial Clermont Hills of? Yeah. So, I mean, did you see? Let me see this for those of you that are interested. Here's one. So it's August. Let's do something newer. Anyways, there's a Costco opening in Clermont that just got permitting approved. They're already building it right now. There's quite a few. I mean, especially up and down 27 in that Clermont Hills, that Mineola area, quite a few. And there was a new permit. I lost the screen here a little bit ago, but Vern Dizzle, what's up? They just allocated $200 million from Florida Department of Transportation to widen the turnpike, basically from like Winter Garden all the way up through Mineola and Clermont. And so they're going to expand that whole thing to kind of let that thoroughfare open up. And so that just sort of continues to reiterate what I've been talking about for the longest time, which is that Mineola, Clermont area and Lake County in general is going to be where it's at. And it's going to be easier to get around. So not having to worry about traffic in the future. I mean, right now it's easy to get in and out of, but you start adding thousands and thousands of houses and people and commercial and all that sort of thing, it will very quickly get bottlenecked. So the fact that they're already allocating the money and bidding for that so that they can start work later this year, I think is a really forward-thinking thing for us. I'm excited to see. Greg says, what are our thoughts on townhouses in Oviedo? Heard that there's some new construction near downtown. So Mattamy Homes, this isn't exactly Oviedo, it's technically Orlando. So I know Mattamy Homes has their townhouses in Avalon Park that's getting ready to open. Let's see how fast I can do this. Spring Palm. Where do I live? US. Show you guys what I'm doing. US. Yeah, Spring Isle Palms in Avalon Park. These are townhomes. These are going to be like from the 400s and in a really great place. That's the marketplace right across the street from there. These guys are opening up right now, coming spring of 22. They're already building them. So I would check that out. Downtown Oviedo, that whole area, like Oviedo on the Park, is continuing to grow. It's amazing to see kind of like all the commercial and all the stuff going out. They're really running out of land. And so, yeah, townhomes, I think that's fantastic, especially the walkable ones. Grow sounds really interesting, especially coming from Wisconsin. Yeah. Nancy reminds me of Chattahoochee Hills in Georgia. Which one? To grow? Do they have something like this that's actually successful? That's one thing I'm curious of. Are there enough people that will be interested in that to want to jump in and spend the money? I think so. I think it has more appeal than some of like these aviation neighborhoods that they've tried, like where they get a bunch of people that have planes or are plane aficionados. They've tried that a lot here, and it seems like none of them catch on. I'm not sure why. I mean, probably not a lot of people with planes that have it. There's a lot more people that want to go grow tomatoes than own a plane, but new concept. I'm excited to see if it works out. Maximo, what's going on with here we go. I got this for you. Already queued up. Here we go. So Olympus Phase 2 subdivision was just 119 of 22, so just a couple weeks ago. You had 300 homes between, let's see, there's 154 townhomes, 164 townhomes, 154 single family properties that have been approved, and they're getting ready to go. So it looks like they're subcontracting over to Lennar is probably who I think based on there. And then there's also David Weekley, which I'm really excited to see David Weekley as part of the subdivision too. So phase 1, I think was probably Lennar. Phase 2 is going to be David Weekley. That's good. That's all really good news. So all of that stuff is moving forward in a quick fashion. One of the things that was delayed that is now moving forward, I think this is a good one to talk about, is Brightline. So many of you asked, what's going on with Brightline? Have we started seeing stuff actually move forward? It looks like as of this week, Brightline ramps up crews to conduct tests, train runs between West Palm Beach and Cocoa Beach. And then they're already working on trains and building trains to deliver to Central Florida. So I think that's exciting. If I go in here, Brightline Trains USA station at Disney Springs, they've benchmarked $3 to $5 million just for the terminal. And here's something I thought was really exciting. I haven't seen it really anywhere else online, is that it looks like the Disney Springs station is going to be targeted completion date of November 1st, 2023. It's a big deal. That's a really big deal. In the next 2 years, essentially a year and a half, there's going to be the Brightline to be able to take it from Miami, West Palm, all the way up and over, all the way to Disney, and then back around within 18 months. That's exciting. I hope people adopt it. One of the things that people always ask me when I'm showing them around the area, like, your public transit's not the greatest. Do you think people would adopt it because they're so like hooked on cars? I don't know. Like for me, I would love to not have to have a car. I'm kind of like in a role where I need one. But what about you guys? Drop a comment down below. Would you use the Brightline at least to get back and forth? Would you try to take it to work if you could? That's the thing. I think, like, even if you take it to some of these stations, how far away are you from your house from there? Can you Uber, bike? I don't know. What do you guys think down below? Sean, I run up and down like Seidel a ton, Avalon a ton, Summer Lake Parkway. It's all covered over there with the old trees and stuff, or like not old trees, 10-year-old trees at this point, but give you a little bit of shade in the middle of the summer. It's nice. Daniela says, Crooked Can is my motivation to ride the West Orange Trail. That's true. You get up and down, you just do, 10, 15 miles, relax over there at Plant Street Market when you're done. Someone said, where is the Grove? So the Grove is over. I'll show you where it's at on the map. You know where Waterford Lakes is, and you could just kind of like type in Waterford Lakes into Google, but here you go. This is where it's at. So you have Waterford Lakes Town Center right here. And then right up the road, right up here is going to be the Grow, this whole like Lake Tanner area, but back down into here, this is where it's all going to be. Hopefully that makes sense, like area wise. So Waterford Lakes, Alafaya, down 50, boom, right here. Holly says, we're so bitter over here. Insane. Yeah, I'm sorry. Not sorry. Just kidding. Costco's coming to Clermont off of 50. Yep. Bring back Greg. Yeah, Greg's going to come back. I think every quarter at least. We're actually going to start bringing in local business owners as well. Probably not for the full time, but I know enough local like foodies and people that like own little restaurants and stuff that I think would be cool. And so if you guys think that's a cool idea, let me know. Like, one of my friends, Jeff from Jeff's Bagel Run, like he and I would talk a ton about the food scene in Orlando. I thought it would be cool to bring him on and maybe some other like people like that are in the different scenes. Like I'm in real estate. That's what I know. I know the development game and all that good stuff. But bringing on people that have either lived here for quite some time or kind of like understand the other stuff that's coming in, I thought about would be fun sort of like tag team to do these lives with every once in a while. So Grumpy Rich says, we bought new Pulte home in solar in Northern California. We had no choice. Came with the house. We're very disappointed with the outcome. Yeah, I mean, Northern California, you guys have a lot like high electricity rates out there, right? There's a few different neighborhoods that here that automatically include solar, but it's not all of them. I mean, the innovation neighborhoods by Lennar, they typically always come, not typically, they always come with solar. And a lot of people lease them though. That's the problem. Like I feel like leasing is probably not the greatest way to go. Um, Especially for when you go to resell it, because then you're having to like pass that lease off. And so not only does the buyer have to qualify for the house and the HOA, but they have to qualify for the lease payment. And, that sometimes kills deals. Yeah, dude, I'm not bringing Foxtail on for a long time. Oh man. What's going on? Good to see you guys. NYC Iron, appreciate you checking in. Any more marathons? Yeah. So I've got the Princess coming up in 3 weeks. I think I'm going to do the New York City half marathon. I got pulled out of the lottery, so I think I'm going to do that. And then I've got the Springtime Fling. I think I'm going to try to do a run every month this year. I feel like it's good, keeps me active, keeps me out there doing stuff. And there's so many things with Run Disney. It's awesome. Really, really cool. Daniela says should definitely use Brightline from Disney Springs to Miami due to my parents living there. Yeah, I mean that's that I hear that a lot. So people that have friends and family that live in Fort Lauderdale coming up and back, I think it'll be cool. If it's I'm going to test it. I'm going to test it for sure. We might even do a video on it. Like how long does it take you to get from Disney Springs to Fort Lauderdale using the Brightline, and like what's the stop like? What's the whole traffic system like? I think that would be fun. We used to use like the Amtrak up in when I lived in the Midwest, and that was a nightmare. Like it stopped all the time. I feel like it always broke down. Not a huge fan, but I think that if they can get it right, it'd be fun. GM says building a custom home and I need a short-term rental near Winter Garden. Any tips on where to rent for 30 to 60 days? Well, there's really no short-term rentals in Winter Garden other than the Grove Resort, and the Grove Resort's going to be pretty expensive unless you work out some deal because you're doing like a 60-day. So then the closest to Winter Garden would be like Solera or Windsor at Westside, which is a Pulte community. Easily rent something there for 60 days. Here we go. Jarrett says, first time I've been able to catch you live. What's going on, man? Do you know of any areas that have more land to include to allow custom builds? I'm still a couple years out, but I'd like to buy an acre and build passive. So I've got this question, comments, especially on the Horizon West video. People asked me, can I buy a lot and then sit on it? And the answer is no. You can't buy a lot in a lot of these subdivisions. They want you to build. It's a whole package. You don't just buy the lot, you buy the whole package. But if you want to be close by, there's plenty of different teardowns, whether it's downtown Orlando, Winter Park, College Park, even out in like the Winter Garden area, the unincorporated Osceola area, Orange County areas. You could buy something for sure, 2-3 acres, like little home that's there that you just want to hang out, tear it down and build something. I think that that's going to be more and more popular. Windermere is, you see, if you guys have ever driven through downtown Windermere, the amount of teardowns going on up and around the lakes is significant. I'm already seeing teardowns in like Isleworth, with Isleworth is like, it's only 20 years old or so, but these people are buying $2 million homes in there, tearing them down, building $4 or $5 million house in its place. We're seeing that a lot here. And so that's actually one of the reasons I wanted to do the whole custom home video, to talk about the process and that kind of thing. I'm going to go back up. NYC Iron, anything new about new NeoCity? Nothing new. I've been like stalking the permits on NeoCity to see what else is coming, what else is, consistently being talked about there. They had this big announcement, this developer is going to, spend up $1.4 billion on the whole town area. That was like 3 months ago. But it takes time, obviously, to build something like that out. My guess is that we won't really see any like real something going on until early next year, just based on everything else. New construction community with the shortest build time. I would have to say like a DR Horton or a Lennar neighborhood right now are probably going to be some of the quickest, because it's all cookie cutter. There's really no massive changes that a lot of these guys do. And so because it's so cookie cutter and they're like, I want package A, B, or C, a lot of them will even just do spec homes where they're like, hey, we're going to build 20 homes at a time. You come in halfway through and you can usually get something within 3 to 6 months. Will the builder be fantastic? Probably not. But it's going to be a good, affordable place. And yeah, something a little bit quicker. How about that? Brandon asks, what are my thoughts on Oakland and Oakland Park? I think Oakland Park's amazing. Oakland Park is like basically you take, Celebration down in Disney and put it out into Winter Garden area. And there's beautiful old trees. They're really a lot of the same builders. David Weekley built out a good majority of the neighborhood. And so, yeah, I love that area. I think that the proximity to downtown Winter Garden, being that it's only 5 minutes away from downtown Winter Garden, is going to keep that area continually growing. Amazing to me to see that the houses used to be 350 and now they're going for 600 just a couple years later, or 600 if you're lucky. Most of it's high sixes and up. Charlie, very astute of you. Apparently Pulte is going to build a community in Dr. Phillips. Must be the last free in the area. Yeah, you're right. So here, Phillips Grove by Pulte Homes. All right, so Phillips Grove, this is an interesting piece. So this is Dr. Phillips. You got Lake Sheen, Big Lake, Little Lake, Sand Lake, all that kind of stuff. So this is a Pulte neighborhood right here, Phillips Grove. It's gated. It's not that big, but I think it's 300 houses, 200 and something houses all in right here. You've got custom homes going in on the lake over here that'll go like 2.3 million to 3.5 million. And then right across south of Popka, Vineland, they're going to do another neighborhood right here. So all this land right here will be another Pulte neighborhood. It's really just going to be kind of a copy and paste, flip it on its side and put it over. But what the thing I love about that is this is all O-Town West. So this whole piece right here, all the way down, all the way over, you got the new Marriott Vacation World headquarters going in right here. So much new construction from the commercial side that's going to be over here. So being right here, you also have the new high school right here. There's a new middle school going in, apartments, tons of stuff right here. So it's going to be great. And you're right, though, when I say that you're very astute, because there's really no more land left in Dr. Phillips. If you look on the map, this is like the last little piece. So once you're done here, the rest of it's going to be resale. And we've seen that area. I mean, a lot of people buying in Dr. Phillips, they're buying these houses that were built in the 80s and, they're fixing them up. And that's what the majority of the area is going to be. But because you have like Restaurant Row right there, you got the new extension coming off Darrell Carter Parkway off of I-4. I think Dr. Phillips, it's already popular. It's already on the higher end of pricing. I think it's going to get even more popular because of just the proximity and everything coming to the area. Dude, I don't know if you saw this, Sean, but I think I know you live here already. So I saw they're doing testing. Like every time I drive down I-4, I see like there's like a pack of 20 cars in the toll roads, and they're all got little discs on the top and laptops inside. And I think they're testing all of like the toll road functionality. But I read an article, I think it was on the Orlando Sentinel, that said that they're going to be opening up those toll lanes mid 2022, which I'm excited about. Mm-mm-mm. Ooh, goodness. Let me. Someone else said thoughts on the I-4 express lane. I'm excited, dude. I just hope it keeps going all the way down, like the whole beyond the I-4 Ultimate, which is the extension from Dr. Phillips down through Davenport. That to me is going to be that'll be the real game changer because there's a lot of people that live in like Polk County, Davenport. They're either here for Airbnb sort of experiences because they're going to Disney, or they live in Davenport in general because it's a bit more affordable. So that I-4 bottleneck is the worst. So they need to expand it and add that thing down the middle, like they did now up in Dr. Phillips up through Lake Mary. And I'm excited about it. I mean, I'm sick of getting caught in downtown during rush hour. I spend a ton of time in my car. I'm happy to pay the dollar or whatever it's going to be. Thanks for the answer. As I feared, I probably can afford tear down and then build a passive house, retrofit an existing house. Yeah. I mean, retrofitting something in an existing house is going to be easier than going to tear something down. Just going to be a little bit more cost effective, anyways. What's going on, Andrew Singer? So, man, development across Fleming from Encore at Ovation is now going to be MI Homes instead of Ashton Woods. So I saw that. So Lake Star, which is across from you guys, is supposed to still be Ashton Woods, but then MI is basically taking over that whole Flamingo Road. Essentially, they've got your neighborhood, which is Ovation, and they've got the 500 homes across the street, 500 homes next to it. It's going to be like MI Road eventually. So yeah. So someone asks, what's planned for the former Holy Land space? So Advent Health bought the Holy Land space. Does anybody ever go to the Holy Land? I never got to. I just kind of wanted to because it was like Orlando history. But if you guys have never seen this, if you don't know what I'm talking about, so this is the Orlando Holy Land experience. This was all now. I mean, it was basically. This is what it all looked like. Anyhow, it's now been torn down, and Advent Health is going on. Advent. Yeah, there you go. Just last month, Advent Health proposes to build a hospital at the Holy Land Experience site. So they bought the land and they're going to actually turn it into a mix of a hospital and then also it sounds like some of their offices. Advent Health is the biggest health system in Florida. And so they're going to continue to kind of grow their footprint. And so, yeah, it'll be interesting. End of an era over there at the Holy Land. All right, here we go. So resale listings report, please, new pendings and everything like that. Interestingly enough, I just saw the thing go between, we had like 200 people watching and it dropped to 2 people watching, which doesn't really make sense. So if you're seeing issues, let me know in the comments. Is this still coming through clear? Are we good? Just want to make sure. All right, so I have got this for you. The market report. So let's actually talk about a few different things. One, we haven't seen new listings in the 700s in a very, very long time. And so here we are, 707 new listings as of today over the past 7 days. Everything good here. Everybody's saying good, still clear. 100. Okay, cool. Good here. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So 707 new listings as of this morning. Over the past week, we had 1,100 pending sales. Insane. Sold number is still outpacing the new listings, which means it's still now, it's still a strong seller's market. That's really all there is to it. Back on market, 218. That's about steady with what we're seeing based on appraisal issues and inspection issues. Where it's typically 15% of the houses that go pending come back on the market. So that's about right. We're seeing like plenty of appraisal issues starting to happen again because we had a little bit of a lull between like mid-December, mid-January, where it wasn't as rabid of home sales. People weren't, there weren't 20, 30, 40 offers. Now we've started seeing that again. And so at the end of the day, if a buyer's not willing to waive some sort of appraisal, they're not going to get the place many times. And so houses will come back on the market if the appraisal comes in too low. But here's some interesting things I thought in terms of the real estate market and where we're at today. So take a guess at how many homes do you think are on the market? I don't know. We'll call it like all of Lake Nona, just single family houses. How many do you think are on the market today? The answer is 28. 28 houses. That's it. Ranging from 498 up to 6.2 million. How about Winter Garden? Let's try Winter Garden. 73. Winter Garden's much bigger than Lake Nona in general, but geez. What about, let's see, give me another one, Clermont. All of Clermont, 1, 2, 3, 4 zip codes, single family homes, 88. Now, to keep up with demand, we need to essentially see something like 4 times that many homes hit. And so as these new neighborhoods come on, like I did this video on Horizon West, like as the new neighborhoods come online, that's going to be really important for us. The more new construction and the faster those builders can actually get things out of the ground, the better. We could really solve a lot of this with new construction starts. And if you look at the reports, new construction starts are finally ticking up again. As that supply chain issue finally corrects itself, I think then the market starts slowing down. As interest rates continue to go up, people are getting off the fence. They're getting nervous. They want to hurry up and buy. And so one thing to think about if you're going through the new construction process is like, you're betting that the interest rates aren't going to go up too much over the next year, which is why resale, people are like, oh, well, at least resale I can buy and I know what the interest rate's going to be. So it's a very interesting time to be out there. But what's the alternative? You stay where you're at and you're either going to stay in a house that you already own. And at that point, you're good to go. Maybe you renovate. Renovations are going through the roof. People are just like staying put. Or if you rent, rents are still going up. Rents went up 38% last year. They're anticipated another 15 to 20% this year. So, it's a little bit of gamble, but you're going to get the house that you want. And still historically, interest rates, even if it went to 4.5% or 5%, historically, those are still really, really great rates. But you have to look at your budget, make sure you can afford it and all that good stuff. Here's a good question from Spencer. So, any way to request an appraiser familiar with a specific neighborhood versus generically familiar with the greater metro area? Yes and no. So, if you find an appraiser, like as a listing agent, the appraiser calls me and says, hey, I've got an order from Wells Fargo Bank to come in and do an appraisal on 123 Main Street. When can I come out? I usually ask them little questions. Okay, cool. So I'm actually going to meet you there just to make sure you have all of the data about the house that you need. By just out of curiosity, where are you based out of? And if they're like, I'm in Lakeland and I'm coming up to Orlando, okay, maybe not, maybe not. And I'll call Wells Fargo and say, hey, listen, before this guy comes out and gives us a total terrible appraisal, can you maybe send somebody closer? A lot of times, these big banks will go with whoever the cheapest is, and those people are the ones that are usually traveling in. Can you request somebody that's right next to you? No, unfortunately, you can't. Wells Fargo has every right to say, forget it. I'm just going to send the cheapest person. I don't care. But many banks will say, yeah, let me get somebody a little bit closer. That's just something. As a listing agent, like I'm always meeting the appraiser and I'm basically walking through. I can't tell them like, hey, we sold the house for 500,000. You have to come in at 500. That's illegal. That's why there's all separation between the mortgage company and the appraisals nowadays. But what I can say is like, hey, listen, here's all of the upgrades that my seller did. And here's how many offers we had. And, any kind of things that we need to know a little bit more about the house to tell the full story. Because if you're looking at a 3,000 square foot house, 4 bedrooms, and there's 27 different comps that have sold over the past 6 months, I want to make sure that they know about sort of what I think are the best 3 or 4 comps. And that's how we kind of at least give them good data. And then to them, it's up to them to make the right decision and or wrong decision, whatever it is. Just come in at the value they think is fair. But if they have more information, the better. So even if somebody, going back to Spencer's question, if they're coming from far, far away, as a listing agent, I try to do my best to give them as much information as possible so that they have hopefully a good, clear picture on what the value should be. But it doesn't work every time. Sometimes they come in and they'll use a year-old comp that is 10% lighter than it should be, and then we just have to go with it. Mm. I watched. So I must have missed something. I watched the show. Not bad. Ken should be on Selling Orlando if they ever make one, which wouldn't be surprising. Man, that would be cool. We've been pushing for something. Our local Orlando association is putting together something like that for like their own YouTube channel. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But the crazy thing about those shows is I feel like there's so many things that are not real, right? And you look at a lot of these people that are on the shows, and they don't actually sell a lot of real estate. They're just full of drama, and that's what they really that's what they're after. Oh man. Man, there's a lot of questions I missed. I apologize. Christian says, I live in the Panhandle and plan on moving to Baldwin Park area this summer. Is there any new construction? Maybe a Baldwin Park video. So I actually have done a Baldwin Park video in the past. Feel free to just Ken Pozek, Baldwin Park. There's no new construction kind of left beyond. I think they're working on a new apartment building, but in terms of the residential lots, all of it's completely built out. So you'd be looking for like a resale, something that you can do there. I love Baldwin Park. Yeah, Big Thunder Craig says I love Baldwin Park's cool. If you guys don't know, Baldwin Park, built in the late 90s all the way up to 2010, they were still building. Again, it feels very similar to Celebration in terms of just like that new urbanism sort of deal. Oakland Park, Celebration, Baldwin Park all kind of have the same vibe, in my opinion. Cody, come on, man. He said, I'm 37. I'm 36. So come on, bro. He said, I'm enrolled in a real estate course. Am I too old to become a real estate agent? Well, the average age of a real estate agent, I think, is like 58 years old or something like that. So no, not at all. And I think there's still plenty of space for like people that are going to go all in on the business. There's a lot of part-timers here. I think I've said this on past live streams. There's 24,000 Orlando realtors, and I think it was 2 years ago, 70 something percent of them sold 0 to 1 home, meaning they got their real estate license, they sold to their grandma or their parents bought a house from them, and then they got out of the business. And so while there's no lack of realtors out there, there's a really lack of people that are like very, very good at it. And so there's always room for people that want to level up and be really great at what they do. Unfortunately, that's just not a ton. Sean says, speaking of rent, I've recently had to shop the area, and a 2-bedroom apartment is going for $2,200 to $2,500. Yeah. Yeah, it's insane. Rents here are going up through the roof. Let me just go through. I want to, before we wrap up today, it's after 2:00, but I'm just going to hang out for a couple more minutes with you guys. Make sure I grab any of these. Yeah. Universal has 2,500 openings. Sean says, appraisers sound like a smaller bank has more flexibility in appraisal selection. That's a very interesting concept. So smaller banks like Greg, who was on my show a couple weeks ago, they actually have appraisal pools. So they're actually allowed to interview appraisers, and based on experience and location, they hire only the good ones to go into their pool. And then to make it all legal with the federal government, they say like we can't pick which appraiser we're going to use, but we can pick our pool. So, hey, we found the best 20 appraisers, and these are the 20 that we're going to only use for our company. And then at random, depending on location, an appraiser is selected out of that pool. But at least they have a little bit more control. Whereas somebody like a Chase or a Bank of America or a Wells Fargo, they're going to be like, hey, we have 2,000 appraisers, and whoever's the cheapest is who we're going to hire. And so that just doesn't create the best customer experience in general. You don't really know who the heck what's going on. Carol asks about Celebration Point. So Celebration Point's by Unicorp, and it's going to be a new development, commercial development over in Celebration. One thing I heard about Celebration Point this week was that Floyd Mayweather, his franchise is going in there. It's like a boxing gym, which I think is more just like gimmick than anything. I hope they actually have like great boxing coaches or whatever it will be. But yeah, there's a Publix. There's a bunch of like stuff that Celebration really does need, because there's not a lot of like retail in Celebration. But that's, if you haven't driven by there, there's buildings going up. It's going up fast. I think by the end of this year slash early next year, it's going to be plenty of stuff to use. Oh my gosh, yeah. Shout out to Jeff's Bagel Run, best bagels outside of New York City. I agree. If you guys haven't been to Jeff's Bagel Run, this is the crazy thing. So he opens at like 7:30 in the morning on Wednesday through Sunday. So they're closed Monday and Tuesday. They make hand rolled bagels. They're amazing. I try not to eat a ton of bagels, but like that's my weekend like guilty pleasure. And in usually 2 hours, they're sold out of like 1,400 bagels. There's usually a line, especially early in the morning. But if you go there, they've got a great assortment, really great people. Jeff and Danielle, his wife, they run the shop, and it's great. And they started actually during COVID making them at home. And then they went on Instagram and like, hey, I'm doing these for family if anybody wants. And people started sending in orders. And then they grew into a shop. And then now like people like literally will message him like, hey, I'm here at Disney on vacation, but I was told that I should come try your bagels. And so it's a cool like local story. He's a really great guy in general. So I love seeing good guys win. But yeah, it's very cool. Appreciate it, Clark. Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, everybody's saying there's a ton of, let's check this out. I'm curious now. Universal. Here we go. Ready? Let's do this together. Universal Orlando. So Orlando jobs. Now hiring. Just on their website. Now, again, this isn't going to be every single job that there is, but I am curious. Search Orlando jobs. Well, there's 168 live results, but that's like different positions, if you will. I mean, I believe it, but yeah, it looks like there's 168 different positions that are currently available. I wonder how that relates to Disney jobs. Don't mind me going a little bit over. I don't think I've ever done a show longer than an hour, but I'm just kind of having fun. 35 jobs. See, I know that number's super low. Relevancy, job title, location. Yeah, that's just ones that they put online. Look at this. Culinary, $3,000 new hire bonus. Job fairs. Yeah, I know for certain that there's so many more than 35 jobs they're hiring. So interesting. If you guys are a potential like Imagineer, if that's something that you've ever wanted to do, I would get your application in, try to find somebody that that works at Disney. Because what I'm hearing is that there's quite a few people that are in LA that are not going to make the trip to Orlando. They've decided that, they've either been an Imagineer long enough that they're going to retire. They don't want to move to from LA to Orlando. And so they're opting out. And so my guess is, though, Disney's bringing those jobs here anyways. So there's 2,000 jobs moving. That doesn't mean there's 2,000 people moving. And so there's going to be a lot of job openings for people that are going to fill that Imagineer role coming in here very soon. I think that would be really cool. Like if I was going to have like a retirement job, I think that would be a lot of fun. Photographer on Main Street. Jay, I've got 3 applications. So we closed on our townhome last week, and we closed on our duplex last week as well. And the duplex, I had like 7 applications or so. We picked a really great one. And then I've got 3 applications on the townhome right now. I went a little high on the rent just to kind of see what would happen. So I didn't have as many as I thought, but we have 3 really great applications. So that'll be rented out in the next few days. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of you guys talking about rents right now. I mean, it is amazing to see the rents going up, and almost everybody that I know that is renting have said that they're getting like letters from their landlords that are like, hey, this is, it's getting crazy. All right. So I think we're going to wrap up for today. I don't know if I picked a winner. Somebody earlier today, if they're going to message me on Instagram, make sure you do. If you're the winner for being far away, Sean, I know you're on an Orlando Real t-shirt. Happy to do that, but I got to pick somebody. So I'm going to go back through these comments and figure out who the farthest person away was. And then we're going to send you guys a box for today. But anyways, that's it for this Saturday's edition of the Orlando Real Live. Appreciate every one of you guys. If you're looking to buy or sell a house anywhere in Central Florida, my team and I, we'd love to be your real estate resource of choice. And we'll see you guys on the next video. Talk soon.